Well, just as I was about to hit record, my neighbor started cutting their grass, so if you hear a lawnmower, that's why. I'm trying to record these a little bit earlier than I normally do, as you can see, 5:21 p.m. Anyway, guys, you notice something that you've never seen before on Real Home Recording? That's right, this is my plugins folder. For the first time ever, I'm revealing it. We have hit the 5,000 subscribers mark this past week, or maybe it was a week ago. I can't remember. 2 weeks ago, I mean. I don't know, whatever. We hit 5,000, and I say, you know what? I was going to make this an RHR Premium video, but I may just can the RHR Premium idea and just really tell all. So let's start row by row, or really column by column. Let me close this a little bit more. So, and of course it's hard to read now because of my resolution change, but I'm going to just load up these as we go so it doesn't crash the computer and explain them just in brief. Alright, so the first one is a guitar amp simulation. Another one. This is a soft clipper, so it kind of sounds like tapes, kind of sounds like feeding a decent analog to digital converter so you can make stuff louder without destroying it. Ampeg SVX is a guitar amp plugin, or really bass guitar amp plugin. Amplitube 3 is the newest version of Amplitube. It includes all kinds of guitar and bass guitar simulations. ARC, I just talked about this plugin in depth the other day. This is the measurements for my Studio A speakers, and this plugin I cannot mix without. I mean I can, but I don't like to. Bark of Dog, this is basically a it makes bass louder. And that's really a simple way of saying it, but I don't know if this is still free or not, but it was released by, man, I'm gonna get, like, Killer Home Recording, that's it. Guy named Brandon Drury. He apparently, I don't know if he makes these plugins or somebody else does. Here, let me just click about. So yeah, there's the list there. And they put this out for free because UAD had released some plugin that was basically something that you can do with any normal EQ. So they put this out as a joke, and it's a useful tool. Baxter EQ is a Baxandal EQ. It's great for mastering. You can use it really on anything, but mastering especially. And I have used this plugin several times on songs, and it's nice. Alright, moving on. These are all my Blue Cat plugins. So we had the Course, which I said was really the best free Course plugin you can buy. And then this is the stereo version. By the way, the reason they have mono and stereo is Pro Tools does not allow you to use a stereo plugin, and actually it's probably not the only one, but in some DAWs you can't use a plugin on a mono track unless there's a mono plugin. So they have mono and stereo. Plus, even if you do have a DAW that does support mono plugins on a stereo track, like Reaper does, a mono plugin will take up less computer power. Flanger's another free effect, I believe. A stereo version of that. And then we have Freak Analyst, which comes in handy during mixing and mastering, and I went into detail on this I think over a year ago at this point. This is basically another meter or analyzer plugin, and I don't use it a lot, but it's there if I need it. Phaser, another free plugin. Stereoscope. This one's good for mastering. Again, there if I need it. I don't use it a ton, but it's there and it works well for its purpose. Okay, bidder is a bit depth or word length, whatever you want to call it, analyzer. It'll tell you what exactly your plugins are putting in and out. That's it. Boot EQ, this is an equalizer from the awesome variety of sound. Nice sounding EQ, it's free. You should try it if you haven't already. Color EQ is another free EQ. This is from DDMF. And again, a useful tool. You can't get away without using equalizer when you're mixing. So definitely try it out because it's free. DC8C, this plugin, actually it's DC8C2. This plugin is not free, but it's, I think it was $26 when I got it, but the exchange rate always changes. So anyway, very affordable compressor. It has a bunch of different modes. It has a ton of presets. I know people like presets. It's a compressor. It's a nice compressor. Some say the best compressor they've ever used, the most versatile. So I got it. To be honest with you, I haven't used it a lot. I mean, I tested a few things, but I never got around to actually using this in depth, so I can only go based off of other people's opinions. So that's not my own, but I will say that you can try this out for yourself. They have a solo plugin, but $26 for a good plugin, you know. But I will review this soon because I don't really think there's any out there about it, which is kind of odd. I guess because they don't really do a lot of marketing, if any at all. It's all word of mouth with this plugin. But definitely check it out. Klang Helm DC8C2. Okay, Density MK3. This is a bus compressor mainly, and it does a good job. Definitely check it out. Okay, you can't buy this plugin anymore, but I have it, so on you. It's a DBX 160 or actually 165A emulation, and which is a compressor. So that's it. And like I said, you can't buy this anymore. The company closed up shop, but I have it and you don't. Ha ha ha. I'm just being funny. Okay, Echo Boy. Sound Toys Echo Boy. I went into depth about this when I did a video tutorial on delay plugins. I love this. This plugin gets used a lot. It just sounds freaking awesome. FabFilter Pro Des. This is a plugin I reviewed, and it just does the job. It gets rid of It gets rid of all the nasty sounds, which actually you probably won't even hear because I use this on my vocal chain every single time. Well, not every single time. I used to use a free de-esser, and then I eventually bought this, and I've been incredibly happy with it. So check it out. I think FabFilter has a sale going on right now. Right now, I'm talking about like right now, like a summer sale. So go buy it. Without even thinking about it, buy it, because it's it's a very useful tool. Free G. All it does is it reduces or amplifies the signal. It's a volume knob, but it's a high quality 64-bit floating point volume knob. And actually you can boost it. Look how much you can boost or reduce. 36 decibels plus 18. I actually use this a lot, believe it or not. Even though I could use RealEQ and to just use that gain, I tend to use Free G just out of habit. Next column. Free G stereo. That's the same damn thing except it's stereo. Alright. GComp. This is kind of cool. It actually shows you like the audio waveform while you're compressing. Alright guys, I'm back. I turned the air conditioner on. It's just too hot for me to, this video is going to take a lot longer than I thought, so, if you don't like the air conditioner, hey, what are you complaining about? This is a free video, right? So anyway, GComp. It is a compressor that you can visually see what's going on. So, see how I'm moving this? And over here, this is the GUI is moving to accommodate, and then that moves. This is actually a cool little plugin to learn visually what compression does. The only other plugin I can think of that does something similar to this is FabFilter Pro Des, I think it is. It's their compressor plugin that visually shows you what's going on with the audio. And this is free. So it's a pretty cool plugin. I don't know if it's still available or not, but hopefully it is. But yeah, there you go. So anyway, moving on. Waves IDR. This comes free with, I think, I forget what this comes free with. Something. I don't know. So IDR stereo. This is their bit depth. They're basically I can't think of it right now. Their noise. It basically adds noise to the signal so it's not sounding like crap. I'll think of the name of it in a second. But that's basically what it does. When you are... Oh, dither. It's a dither plugin. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it does. When you're going from 16-bit down to... Or, I'm sorry, from 24-bit down to 16. So you can choose these. Or 20. Who does 20-bit, though? So 16-bit for CD quality. You want to use this. But, I pretty much never use this plugin. EQ from DDMF. Cool little plugin. I think this is... Yeah, this is the baby plugin to EQ Pro. I hate the GUI on this. But I don't really use this plugin a lot. I have enough that are like this. I use color EQ. It looks nicer. And it works just as well. So, next. IRL. This plugin, oh man. One of my favorites. Reason being, it simulates a room really, really well. Now, a lot of people don't like convolution reverb for whatever reason, but I do. I think it sounds awesome, and I think it does a damn good enough job to get the job done. So, and this is all IRL. You know, there's... Waves makes different versions, so they have the efficient one, so for low CPU, full... So, full quality, and then mono only or mono to stereo. Good stuff. And it has a huge impulse response library that you can download from, I think it's acoustics.net. But, yeah. Those impulse responses are free. So, yeah, good stuff. You just load them up in this plug. Oh, I should show you it, actually. That would help, right? Takes a bit to load these up, especially when you're doing screen capture. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, here we go. So see, acoustics.net impulses, and I mean, they went and measured all kinds of cool places, like real studios. I love using the studio impulses. I use them on acoustic guitar and drums all the time. Outdoors, very, very cool stuff. Sound, if you do sound design, this is definitely something you want. And yes, Altiverb is the better plugin, but you can find IRL on sale a lot, and it's pretty much, I wouldn't say it's as good as the better, what's it called, IR1 plugin, but it's, you know, more affordable if you're, you know, if they call it budget conscious, but I say broke. Okay, if you're broke like me, this is what I did. So yeah, I'm not spending $800 on a fucking reverb plugin. Which is what you would do if you bought IR1. Okay, so these are all my, I hope this doesn't crash. These are the only ones that I didn't try opening. But these are all my isotope plugins. Ozone gets used on my master channel all the time. all the time. RX2, I don't really use it as a plugin. I use it more as the standalone plugin. Oh, by the way, this is the old version of Ozone. And the new version, once it loads up, there we go. And then really, RX is a lifesaver plugin, or really program. You know, let's see. Declicker is if your interface messes up, or I think it works if you, it works on records maybe, but it does what it says. If you hear clicking, it processes it and gets rid of it. Declipper, some idiot, maybe you're the idiot, records too loud and there's a lot of distortion. Declipper helps your ass, saves your ass, I should say. Crackler. Oh, this is the if you do vinyl to digital transfers, this is what you want. Gets rid of the crackle. Denoiser, I use that all the time. Hum removal, I don't use this as much as I use denoise, but you know, it's the same concept. If you have noise in your signal and you don't want noise in your signal, use this. What? Okay, so this is spectral repair. This is like basically Photoshop for audio. I can't really get into it in this because I really don't know much about it either, but basically, let's say somebody blows their horn. This is one example. Somebody blows their horn while you're outside shooting, and you don't want that car horn in your audio. You can use this. Yeah, and it gets rid of it. Another good use for this is for music purposes, when people are playing guitar, especially acoustic guitar, and they slide their fingers across the fretboard and make that sound. Well, if you don't want that sound, this can get rid of it. All kinds of good usages for iZotope RX2, and now it's RX3. Either way, guys, the two plugins I highly recommend you have, no matter if you're in a home studio or not, iZotope RX and IK Multimedia ARC. Absolute life-saving, game-changing plugins. All right, next up we have a JCM 900, which is a Marshall guitar amp simulation. There's no pretty GUI. That's coming up actually. I actually meant to delete this from my plugin folder because I have the GUI version, which is basically just this but on a graphic user interface. So yeah, very nice sounding. We have a JCM 900 at the studio, and this comes damn near close to sounding like it, which is pretty amazing because this plugin's pretty old. Alright, so K-Stereo, again, another plugin I use all the time. You've seen me use it when I'm doing mixes on talking about plugins and all that. I use this all the time. Real home recording stuff is done at K12, which is like one of the maximums they recommend your loudness be. So I always try to be around K12. And then the surround version, which I don't ever use because I don't mix surround stuff, is available as well. Both free plugins. But the JCM 900 is also free. But again, wait for me to talk about it in a few minutes because there's a newer version. Okay, this, I honestly don't know what the fuck this is. I've never I've never used it. I think it can change your voice from like a male to a female and vice versa, and it might do some auto-tune BS. I don't know, but check it out. Because I haven't yet. I have it, but I didn't even realize I had it. Okay, little Microshift. This is like the free version of the Microshift plugin. This makes stuff sound really, really cool. It makes it sound big and stereo-ish. I have it because it was free, and it does something useful. LoudMax, another free plugin. It's a limiter. If you don't have a brick wall limiter, This is a damn good one. I also like to use this on various types of guitar, bass especially. It just sounds good. LXP chamber. These are the LXP native Lexicon plugins. The most expensive plugin I own right here. And unfortunately, well, I wouldn't say unfortunately for you, but unfortunately for me, Lexicon decided to drop the price of this plugin big time. So I spent $400 on it, and you can now buy it for like $100, maybe less sometimes. So that's a good thing for you if you don't have this plugin. But for me, I'm like, I spent all this money because I thought that I'd be the only one that has it. And not only one, but you know what I mean? Like, it's prestigious. It's like buying a Mercedes or buying a BMW or buying a Lexus. It's like, really, Lexus? You just dropped your $80,000 car down to $20,000? They would piss a lot of people off. Lexicon pissed a lot of people off when they reduced the price that drastically. Anyway, despite the price reduction, this is a damn good plugin. The reason I'm mad is because they have a PCM reverb bundle that I would have had I waited and bought that instead, which is, it's, I think, $250 now. So, yeah, you can now buy the better plugin cheaper than I bought this one for. This was like the light plugin, you know, LITE. Anyway, really, really good sounding plugins. Algorithm, not convolution, and highly recommend it, especially now that they're a fourth of what I paid for them. Bastards. Okay, next plugin, Magic AB. You ever heard of mix referencing, where you compare a already published commercial CD or commercial MP3 or whatever and compare it to what you're mixing? Or if you want to compare your own tracks or compare whatever, this is the plugin for that. It allows you to easily switch back and forth between mixes. You can reduce the volume of one of them. You can up the volume, whatever. This plugin came out last year, and before that, I don't believe there was a mix reference plugin that makes the task of mix referencing this easy. It's cheap. I recommend it. I have it, and so should you. Next is Voxengo Marvel graphic equalizer. That's all it is. It's a nice sounding graphic equalizer. I think it's... Isn't this like a low latency or... Not low latency, there's something special about this, I forget now. I think it... What the hell is it called? It's a non-linear... Or... Man, I am losing my train of thought. I've been looking at all these different plugins trying to remember stuff. I'll think of it. But it's a graphic equalizer. I really don't use it that much because I'm more of a parametric kind of guy, but this is nice if you want it. I thought I deleted this. Whatever, you know what? I'll get to it later when it has a GUI, a pretty GUI to look at. Phoenix Reverb. Again, oh, by the way, this plugin is made by the same guy who made the LXP plugins, and if you recall, if you've been a fan of RealHomeRecording.com for a long time, you may recall I interviewed this gentleman. His name's Michael Carnes, and he knows how to make reverb. He knows how to make awesome sounding echo. So this is his independent release, one of his independent releases, the Phoenix Verb, which is the neutral one, the neutral sounding one, and you can get all kinds of usages out of this. I also recommend this along with the LXP. If you can only get one, I would get Phoenix Reverb because it sounds better. There's more options and more presets if you like that kind of thing. But yeah, this is really a nice sounding reverb, and it goes well along with the R2, which I'll get to in a few minutes. Okay, and my phone rings. God damn it. All right, goddamn telemarketers, I swear. Anyway, these are the Poolin, the Polin. I don't really know how you pronounce that name, but all of these are guitar amp simulators. And one's a cabinet loader, which I think is this one actually. No, it's not. Oh wait, you can load something in here, can't you? Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, so you can load cabinet impulse responses just like IRL can do reverb. This can do a cabinet impulse response. And then we also have a bunch of other ones. These are all free, excellent guitar amp and cabinet plugins. So there's a Marshall sound. This is a solo. This is called a Solo C. I can't remember the name of the actual. This is like a metal type of guitar amp. And then they also have, I know one of these is like a rectifier or something. And I think this is, man, I am just losing my train of thought again. Sorry guys, it's kind of been a long day. But yeah, just check these out. If you play guitar and you've never heard of these plugins, you've been missing out. So definitely check out the Poolin plugins. And I guess I will link to everything to be a nice guy so you don't have to Google all these plugins. But yeah, if I don't, then I don't. They're free. Do a little bit of work to earn them, right? What the heck? Okay, PQ33. This is a Rupert Neve Designs emulation of an EQ that I can't think of right now. It's like $1,000 EQ, and this is free. So again, you can never have enough EQ plugins, I guess. And I know I have a lot. And I've definitely used these on mixes before. So one of these is the old version, one of them is the new one. So at some point they said, okay, we're not going to try to emulate the R&D hardware anymore. So I kept the old version. Anyway, Proximity is a reverb / delay type plugin, and it's called that because you basically set the distance from yourself. See how it says original distance? And yeah, you can get a lot of sounds out of this, and it's free. R2, this is the other exponential audio plugin from Michael Carnes, formerly of Lexicon, and this is the more Lexicon / classic hardware reverb. So it's also the more expensive of the two. If you can only get one, I would recommend Phoenix, but R2 is just as well, it's useful in the classic sense. So if you're going for a more vintage vibe, or this type of plugin sounds better on vocals, in my opinion, then go with this. But Phoenix, if you can only buy one, I just find Phoenix more useful because I already have the LXP plugins. But if you don't have any, this is definitely a good buy. GComp. This is included with Reaper, but you could also download it for free off of the Reaper website. It's part of the RIA plugins package, and it's a boring looking plugin, but it has a lot of usage. And by the way, pro tip, mess with this AA setting. Set it to something higher than none, and be happy. A lot of these I really don't use. RIA control, I don't really use that. Ria Delay. These are all just here because I have Reaper. Ria Delay is a delay plugin, obviously. Nothing special really. And I will say this, I have used this as a broadcast delay when we were doing podcasting live, and we had this set up like on a 5-second delay. That was kind of interesting. So I have used it for that. Ria EQ, I use this. I wouldn't say a lot, but it's a clean EQ and there's nothing wrong with it. But I have other plugins, and this one kind of just doesn't really get used as often as I really could use it, because it just, you know, it works well. I don't really use this. I don't really use this either. I don't really use this. Nope. I'm not. Hey, just because I don't use them doesn't mean they're not good plugins. Let's just say that. But I'm showing these to you just so you know, try them all out yourself. Ria Pitch is like an auto-tune ripoff, kind of. Ria Stream, I think, is I think you can stream audio somehow, like from one computer to another. Across the interwebs.